Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside YouTube channel. We're going to change things up today. I unfortunately didn't plan things and I didn't contact any brewers to interview this week. So we're going to be speaking to my videographer, Phil.
Hey.
So Phil, what made you decide to join me in this YouTube beer venture?
Besides all the free stuff that we get now. Seriously. It's always been an interest of mine to find out like what goes behind like a beer, a name of a beer, why would they brew certain things and not go for other ingredients. So it's always been a fascination for me to at least just get to know the people behind the beers that we like to drink.
Cool. Awesome. As you can see in front of us, I brought some delicious beers back from my New Jersey, New York adventure with my father, where I hit a few breweries there. I didn't hit the two breweries, obviously, we're going to be drinking tonight because they're a little farther away, especially the last one. But we're going to enjoy some beers and we're going to get to know more Phil. So starting, we're having the first three are from Decadent Ales. This one is called Strawberry Fluff. Brewed in honor of breast cancer awareness, this IPA is loaded with strawberry, marshmallow, and vanilla bean. It's coming in at 8.6% ABV. As we say on our recording, a toast! Oh yeah, smell that strawberry.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is sweet.
That's sweet. This is a dangerous beer.
Mm-hmm. This does not taste like an 8.6%.
No, exactly. This is a
beer.
high ABV, and it just masks the entire thing.
Oh, this is pretty. You know, we've had a lot of their beers recently, and almost all of them have been on point.
Yeah, I don't think we've rated anything below like a 3.5.
No, not at all. These beers are pretty fantastic. Oh, as you'll also see, I have a variety of glassware from all the Montreal beer festivals I attend, or Montreal and surrounding area beer festivals. So yeah, I've got glass. I mean, I have thousands of beer glasses downstairs, like thousands. It's an obsession. I got to stop.
Okay.
What would you give the beer out of our usual 5 rating?
I give this a 3.75. It's a solid beer. Oddly enough, crushable, even though it is extremely dangerous.
It's dangerously crushable. Yeah, I'll agree with that sentiment. 3.75 for me as well. Very good beer. You could find all of our ratings on our Untappd. I'm at Killer Carpe Diem, and you could follow Phil at Philip Tam.
Also, All Beer Inside's on Untappd.
Yes.
At All Beer Inside.
At All Beer Inside.
Yeah.
You come from the video game world, as you've stated on the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that passion from? Does that kind of translate to your beer passion as well, that you're passionate about video games, you want to continue your passion in the beer industry?
I think it is a recurring theme where if I like something, because I have multiple passions. I have video games, I have movies, sports a little bit, but less. Beer. So it's always been a thing where I need to know more.
Yes.
I need to find out how things are done, who's behind it, why are things a certain way, how are like decisions made. And that brought me into figuring out like, oh, I like video games. Like I love Chrono Trigger. That was the game that got me into saying like, oh, these are actual people writing this and coming out with these ideas. I want to know more and I want to find out if I can do it myself.
Okay.
And that's how I got into video game design with my computer science degree and stuff like that. And here we are with Spearhead Games.
For those of you who don't know, Phil's company won 2016 Canadian Independent Game of the Year.
Yes, Stories: The Path of Destinies won in 2016 the Canadian Video Game Awards.
That's fantastic. That must have been a great, like, it must have made you feel really good to get that achievement.
It was super weird. You know, when people say, when you go on stage, you go blank?
Yeah.
I literally went blank. Because I was having fun, like drinking wine and all that at the ceremony. I'm not expecting to win. Because we were up against a lot of big games.
Okay.
Big indie games. And also, so it's like, oh, best indie game. And they call our name out. I just blanked. I was like, what's going on?
Did we just win?
Yeah, we just did like what? No. This is not possible. So so it's the three of us, we go out on stage. I think the video is still online. I might clip it into this video. I'm just standing there. And at the end, I just blurred out, go indie games. And I walked down.
Fantastic. That's hilarious. No, that's an amazing achievement, I got to say. And now, did it go past the Canadian level? Were you guys nominated on like North American awards or?
We got into a couple of lists, but nothing as big as that one. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, continuing from Decadent, is double whipped orange cream pop. Double the orange, double the vanilla, and building on a hazy double IPA base. That is next iteration of our orange cream pop.
Ooh.
It's another high alcohol. It's 8.2% ABV. A toast. Oh yeah, smell that! Wow, it smells like an orange creamsicle. Yeah, I would definitely like to get down to Mama Ronick and talk to these guys about where their wild creativity comes from. Yeah, this is pretty tasty. It tastes like an orange creamsicle.
That's it. It almost has that orange crush
Yes,
flavor,
except with like a bit of lactose on top
exactly.
of it. This is a fantastic brewer. I'm going to start. This is a 4 for me. This is a very good beer. I love Orange Crush, and I guess adding like a milkshake property to it makes it fantastic. So
yeah, I also give this a 4. It's like getting drunk off of soft drink, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that could be problematic. I know some beer stores and stuff. I want to interview too as well, and I know you're along for the journey with me, which is fantastic. I know they collab with breweries. If we could collab with a brewery to make the all beer inside beer, what would be your beer style that you would kind of shoot for that?
I don't know. It's weird because we're sort of which makes the show interesting. We have different tastes.
Yes, we do.
So it's hard to nail one for the entire group. Like we know that Old School would go for stout.
A stout, yeah, most likely.
I'm a sucker for anything mango. So if La Brosse would do an offshoot of their mango creamsicle, I'm all in. You? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I'd honestly like to start with a nice, clean, crushable, like 4% lager that I could drink all day and not get too hungover. Because, like Old School said, it's all about taste. It's not about getting wasted. Well, he didn't say wasted, but it's about taste nowadays for us, I find. That's the thing with our show is we get together once a month. Well, more so than once a month now just to get content. But, we're trying to experience new things, which is fantastic. And I find with the YouTube channel that we're starting, this is going to expand our palates beyond more so. But just if I could brew with anybody, honestly, out of the 3, I'd love to brew a beer with each of the 3 guys we've interviewed so far.
Yeah. Also, we have to go back because we haven't met a lot of the brewers actually. So Drew's actually the head brewer at Kanawaki, but at La Brosse,
it's Dan.
Dan's the brewer over there, and Matthew's brother is actually the head brewer at Luke. So we have to go back and figure out like. What makes them?
I'd like to go back and celebrate their anniversaries. Not obviously this upcoming year because we have to expand where we're going to go, and we do have a future. I'm hoping where I've already said, hey, let's head down to New York City for a baseball game and interview some breweries. And,
also see where they're heading, like their headspace, right? Because the market is huge. Like you're competing against beers from New York State, the Maritimes, Ontario, right? So how do you stand out at this point? For me, that's fascinating because it's the same thing in the video game industry. It's so cutthroat. Yeah. There's 1,000 games on Steam, new games on Steam every day. Like how do you stand out? How do you make your statement and say like, no, play this, drink my beer? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like Matthew was saying at Luke's, these guys are fighting for shelf space. And I've been to the beverage. So it was rated the #1 bottle shop in the USA. It's called the Vermont Beverage Center. It's based out of Winooski. I walk in and I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. It's the size of a brewery, but it's a store that sells beer and hard liquor and wine and cider. And it's like, oh my God, it's on the level of an LCBO, but just all the beer, not just Ontario, not just Quebec, all across the US, which is something that Canada definitely has to resolve is our the beer restrictions per province. That has to be removed.
Yeah. Because that's also a thing where that's why I like doing this show, because you tend to go on your beer ventures.
Yes.
And then you post pictures and we're all like,
bastard.
Yeah. Why didn't you take us on your trip?
Yeah. Well, I mean, last time I think everybody had plans that weekend except me. And I'm like, I'm going to Vermont for a weekend. And I did the beer bus tour, which I would love as us for a show to interview the guys who do the beer bus in Montreal and talk to them and see like what they think of the beer industry as well. Because the one I did, shout out to Griffin in Vermont. He was an awesome host. I want to interview everybody in the beer industry. I just don't want to talk to brewers, and I want to talk to bloggers, Instagrammers, all of it.
I'm really curious about home brewers too, right? Because they don't really get much attention. Yeah. But they're, I guess, the most experimental of the bunch.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Looney, or Chris, as he's called himself on the show multiple times. Maybe we can talk to him one day and what his future would be for this. So where, I mean, obviously outside of Quebec, Ontario, northeastern states, because you travel to Boston for work purposes.
Yeah.
Where else do you think we should try and bring the show outside of that?
So I tend to go to San Antonio a lot. LA has a really interesting.
Speaking of LA, yeah, as you can see that last beer, it's right across from the airport, the LAX. So
Really, like, long term, if we ever have the budget, there is a small but burgeoning scene in Korea. Because the last time I went, there was just Cass and Hype.
okay,
Those are the two main beers that you can get at any place. But since there's been a lot of expats moving to Korea, there's like a small scene that's been starting.
Okay.
And I'd be curious to see where they're at.
There's it's on Amazon Prime if you have it free. I don't know what it is if you don't have Prime. I can't remember the name of it, but it's about the beer industry of South Africa. How it's like it's exploding, and I'm just I read when we did the top 5 most expensive, top 5 cheapest back probably a year or two ago.
Yeah.
It's like South Africa here, like Belgium. I'm like, I want to go to all those places because they're cheaper. I don't want to go to Tokyo and spend $15 for a pint. That's unrealistic in my views, especially if we're trying to expand the show. Interviewing overseas brewers would be fantastic on top of trying beers from places that we would never thought of trying beers. So
I mean, there's still a lot that we have to explore in terms of even Quebec, just going out like further up north or in the eastern townships.
Yes.
Ontario has a big scene.
Yes, it does.
Even though it's as expensive as going to Asia, BC has a huge scene.
Yeah.
So even in Canada, there's still a lot of places I'd like to figure out and explore. Right?
I mean, I've got family and friends in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who lives here, but he's from Manitoba, and I don't know what the beer scene's like there. But when he was last there, he's like, "Yeah, it's like your classic Molson Coors Bud and whatever." Mm-hmm. But who knows what it is now? So, yeah, I mean, we can't just stick. We can't just stick to Montreal. Obviously, we've already technically been off the island, but it's still Montreal and the surrounding area when you think about it. We've talked to Laggy Bear. We went to the homebrewers competition at Collège ETS, which is a French technology school.
Yeah, it's called Saveur de Génie.
And
they're at their 5th or 6th edition.
It's basically, like, if you translate it, it's engineering taste when you think about it. So it's that's a festival that we all suggest if you're ever in Montreal, you try and find. And as well, Laval. You just came to your first Laval this year. What did you think of it?
It's sad to say, but the Mondial has really dropped in terms of quality and quantity.
More so quantity.
Because it's a smaller space. There's no rinsing stations.
Yes. So, Saveur Génie, your little rinse station setup?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I saw that at Saveur de Génie, I'm like, that should be so hard to install at Mondial, your biggest beer festival in Montreal. But I like the fact that it's outdoors. There's activities all around. It's like even kids have stuff to do. Because the Mondial right now feels really...
Well, it's right next to a daycare.
So like it's really cold and uninviting almost. It's essentially just beer nerds at this point, right? Like there's nothing to do for, let's say, your spouse or your kids or any... Like you can't bring anyone in besides people that love beer. Exactly. So there's no gateway into like, oh, well, bring your friends. At least you can play games and throw axes and do other stuff while I drink beer.
Yes.
But if you want to try beer, try beer.
Yeah, and the creator of the Festival of Laval, he owns a brew pub, which I'm hoping we get to interview at some point, called Les Insulaires. So let's go to beer number 3.
Yep.
This is Coco Ecto by Decadent Ales. A hint of coconut makes this Ecto brew stand out from its companions. So coconut, double IPA, 7.5%.
Wow. All right.
A toast.
Oh,
wow. Smell that coconut.
C-Money would love this.
Yep.
Man, these are high ABV beers. But you just can't taste.
No. Which is fantastic. Like, if I could brew something wild, like when we were hanging out with Drew, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be introducing this. It's this percentage. And we're like, we try it, and we're like, whoa, this is not this percentage. We're in trouble. It's a good balance of coconut, so not overpowering. It's
got that lingering aftertaste.
Yeah, it's strong in the first thing, but the lingering aftertaste is really good. So what would you give this one?
Give it a 3.75. I'm not a Super fan of Coco, but this is definitely this is a really good summer beer.
Yeah, this would be a fantastic summer beer. Unfortunately, we're recording this mid-December, so it's a 3.5 for me. This actually tastes more boozier than the other two to me. So you're heading down to Boston again for, I believe you said PAX?
PAX East, yeah.
To promote your game, but as well, what breweries are you going to head out there this time?
So for sure, we're hitting Trillium.
Mm-hmm.
We're hitting Harpoon.
Okay.
I'd like to visit Sam Adams' actual brewery.
Okay.
Because they do tours. And maybe pick up Utopias.
What is it? Treehouse, I heard, is very good out there.
I don't know where it is, but because we're usually in the around the convention center near the docks.
Okay, that's not near the baseball stadium, is it?
No.
Because speaking of baseball stadiums, when I was in New York, when I was staying in New Jersey, I took bus, train to McKellar, which is attached to Citi Field where the Mets play, and it's like, I can't imagine how much. There's just 36 different beers on tap, and you're like getting flavor before a game. Okay. And I don't know what it's like inside City Stadium. I'd like to maybe go to a game and see if McKellar shifted to there. Because when I was at the Packers versus Giants game, they actually had Brooklyn Lager. They had another good beer. They had Shock Top, which is still macro when you think about it, but they had good beer on top of your crap.
Okay. So, but inside the stadium?
Inside the stadium.
Okay.
My issue was they stopped serving at the end of the half.
Oh, yeah.
Because
they want people
I'm
to sober
sure
up.
people have ruined it for everyone.
Yeah, I guess they want people to sober up and not cause any trouble.
So besides for work and possibly this show, where would you like to beer venture in the immediate area of, let's say, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Michigan, Ontario, etc.?
Well, there's a bunch of places that you've been in Toronto that I've never been, so that's one destination that we have to eventually. Yeah,
and we also have a friend who stays with another friend for free, but he's not applying that for us for some reason.
I guess. I mean, well, we shouldn't call him out, but he knows.
Yeah, he knows who he is.
Yes, he watches the show.
Yes, we know who you are.
Yeah, we know. But besides that, in Vermont, so many interesting places. Like, I got into sours a lot this summer, so I think you know where I'm heading with this.
Hermit Thrush.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a holy grail almost in terms of sours.
If I had not been in New York for our trip, I would have suggested that they just did their 50th year anniversary.
Okay.
And they released 15 new beers.
Oh my god.
On the day of their 50th year anniversary, and I'm like,
how?
I'm going to New York, sir, guys.
How big is your?
Yeah, but I've seen. So there's the Vermont Brewers Association Challenge app, and there's 57 breweries to go to.
Yeah,
and this summer alone, because I have a better paying job, obviously, I went to 22 breweries this summer and fall ish alone. So I can imagine if we go as a group, those who the cabin trips, for example, that you guys went on last year, I personally can't just sit there and kind of do nothing. So I'd be like, I want to go to the brewery nearby, but that's me. So it's almost like ADD for beer.
That's the problem with Untappd. Is that you have a list, and like you said in the previous episode, you want to collect them all.
Yep. Beer's like Pokemon, got to drink them all. So.
And now you have a tracking app.
Yes, and that's because I know there's other competitors like ratebeer.com, but they didn't have a festival like Untappd. Yes, Untappd's festival, from what we read, fell apart.
Yeah. Well, due to weather.
But we don't know what the first Mondial was like 25 years ago.
Didn't you go?
Not the first one. I was 15 when the first one existed. I started underage drinking at a bar downtown at 16 with the crappiest looking fake ID ever, but they let us in.
Yeah.
But I was all like, oh, Bud, oh, Blue, oh, good stuff. I thought it was the best beer ever.
Yeah. My dad gave me Heineken's when I was 12. And he's like, drink this. You'll need to learn how to drink this.
Yeah. What was one of the first craft beers you've ever had in Montreal?
In Montreal, so Brewtopia was actually the place I discovered that beer could have different flavors. They had their honey, they had raspberry, they had I think they had 6 beers back in the days. And they all had different flavors.
Yes.
So that was my first, I guess, exposure to craft brewing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Cheval Blanc was well, still is bottling their stuff. So I
Yeah,
drank.
so it's Bress. It's a conglomerate called Bresser RJ now.
Yeah,
I
now
believe.
but back then it was
It was
Cheval Blanc had and it's funny because I always say that I'm not a fan of the whites,
yeah.
but one of the beers I drank a lot was their white,
Yes,
the white
Cheval
Belgian.
Blanc. Yeah, it's also a fantastic beer, and I believe they're number 1 or 2
Mhm.
For craft breweries in Montreal, in Quebec.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's it's the Golden Lion, and Lennoxville has number 1.
Okay.
Or sorry, former Lennoxville, now known as Sherbrooke.
So from that point, it was going to Au du Ciel, figuring out that Brewtopia had 6, they have 20.
Yes.
How is this possible? What is this? And what the heck is an IPA? And what the heck is a stout? And all that stuff, right? So that was, I guess, university first and second year was my discovery of the whole craft scene and all that. So yeah, that's how it started.
Even then, when I was in CJEP, for the multiple programs I kept going through, it was just me and a friend drinking 40s in an alley downtown playing hacky sack. It was like my flavor profile really didn't evolve until I started going to the Mondial, where I'm like, oh, what's this? What's this? Did I have some bad beers at the Mondial? Hell yes, I did.
Yeah.
There was a beer that was so bad that it was me and my friend Dennis.
Mhm.
We tried it. And just the look on her face and like, who else wants to try it? And everyone's like, no, you're trying to give us poison. I'm like, no, it's not that bad. But definitely, and then it's Untappd. Honestly, the beast that I am now with craft beer, it's because of Untappd.
How many beers do you have? Unique beers that you've tried on Untappd?
So minus the 3 we've tried so far, I'm at 3,227 since March of 2013.
We have to do an episode for your 4,000.
Yeah, well, we did an episode for my 2500.
Mhm.
So that was a year ago?
Yeah. Oh, no, even less.
No, less than a year ago. But it's been crazy this year because for my 40th, we did the 40 for 40 in a sense with 10 brew pubs. I ended up doing 41.
Yeah.
Because I had the extra one on the candles.
You were sort of drunk and miscalculated.
Yeah. But it was fantastic, and it was just we tried a good place, another good place, places I'd love to interview like Judiciel, La Mer à Boire.
Yeah.
I want to get to that last beer.
Yep.
So this is from El Segundo Brewery.
This is a beer that I've been looking forward
beer
to.
that Phil's been looking forward to. That myself and Mr. Old School had in Cleveland 2 years ago with Heavy Set. Shout out to Wrestling Cheers. If you're a wrestling fan, definitely listen to Wrestling Cheers on. I think it's still on the brand new Trending Topics Network.
Also, Heavy Set, I know that you're 2 years behind on the audio podcast. It's okay to just listen to the latest one.
Yes.
You don't. There's no storyline to follow.
No, there's no more storyline to follow on the show. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for WWE fan of the 90s and early 2000s, the man made a beer. Yeah. It's an IPA. It's called Broken Skull from El Segundo Brewery.
Yeah.
So, let's drink some Stone Cold beer. A toast! It's coming in at a lovely 6.7%. It's actually the latest beer we're having on the show, so we're going down in alcohol percentage.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's an IPA.
Yeah. The thing is, the bitterness doesn't stay very long, I find.
Yeah, it's really
it's
the
like
first
there, and then kindly
it fades away.
Yeah.
It's really the first. Let's see, the second sip.
See, because the first time I tried it was straight out of the bottle. I didn't get this presentation. I did.
Yeah.
And when I was at the football game, I was straight out of cans while tailgating with my father. By the way, New York Giants fans, you've been having a great season. You've been having a terrible season, but your fans are super nice to out-of-town fans. So shout out to the Giants fans.
As opposed to Boston.
Yeah. Filthy Patriots fans. So I have had this before. I gave it a 3.75. It's still the same. Phil?
I give it a 3.75. It's a solid, if not a bit simple, but it's a really solid IPA. I mean, you can't go wrong with this.
No, not at all. It's a solid beer.
I can't imagine him smashing these cans and downing these back in the days.
Pouring them all over his face like he used to.
Yeah.
Well, so for those in the know who listen to his podcast, he is actually coming to the Northeast of America. So you can actually get this beer in Plattsburgh now.
Nice.
For those based in Montreal and the surrounding areas. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like the public to know about you, Phil? About your beer venturing and such?
I guess doing this show has really opened my eyes to all the possibilities that beer can offer.
Yes.
We've done how many episodes now?
Well, we've done 43 audio.
Yeah.
Technically 42 because episode 1 is disappeared into the ether.
Yeah, that should be another episode. We would just commentate on what happened on that evening.
So for the audio parts, yes, we are a little unfiltered, unlike this show.
Yeah.
But there is a warning beforehand, so if you can handle it, like I say, the views and opinions expressed, we're just there drinking, shooting the poop to each other.
Manure.
It's just us having fun.
Yeah.
This is what it took me too long to get this happening, but
no, but you've always wanted to do it. It's just
I have.
It was just a matter of pulling the trigger.
Yeah. It's the show's evolved from what it was to where it's going to go, and you'll be seeing more interviews. Yeah. Hopefully, every Friday at noon, we're going to be releasing a new episode unless circumstances beyond our control stop us. So at this time, Phil, where can people find you on the internet?
So at Philip Tam on Twitter or at Spearhead MTL. That's Spearhead Games. I still need to eat, like I say on every episode. So buy Stories, The Path of Destinies, Omen Sight, and also Wishlist, our upcoming game called Project Witchstone, if you're into RPGs.
Cool. As for me, you can find me everywhere at Killer Carpe Diem. The show at All Beer Inside everywhere, allbeerinside.com. If you don't mind clicking on the Amazon link on the side of the page, that helps me buy various crap. And as we say on the audio show, which I've forgotten on other episodes, drink craft, not crap.